So the acting is getting worse. I don't know what's going on. I think that maybe they just didn't have a storyline this season because everything is just overproduced and the acting is so poor. This episode opens up with Jocelyn and Stevie meeting for this epic meeting that they're having, I guess, to talk about the baby. And it's just so weird because Stevie is still like, he does this sloth kind of speech, which is just so weird. But today it was just like really, really extra in this episode. It's just like, I can't believe. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why? What I don't understand is why they don't stop them when they do like this weird. You know what? They don't care. That's what it's in my mind. I'm talking about. I'm just like, they just don't care. Like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they just throw them a couple of dollars and they just put on a camera. I don't even think they really bother with storylines too much because this show is so poorly put together. Like, Mona just doesn't really care about this one because I guess they bring it every time, so she just doesn't give much thought to it. But it's just like, man, it's so poor. Like, it's just so poorly put together. Anyway, Jocelyn says that she's going to move to Miami with the baby, and Stevie, who has this entire time been denying that the child is his, is all of a sudden upset. You not taking my baby? Like, but you were just saying that this wasn't your kid. So I think the entire time he knew that was his child. I think in reality, he was just retaliating because of the things that Jocelyn said that he was doing to his daughter. Honestly, I don't know how he could ever forgive her for that. Like, you know, saying that he was molesting his child. Well, that was really, really low. And I don't even think that was storyline. I think that was just, you know, a jealous lover or, you know, scorned lover just saying something really, really terrible. But he seems to have forgiven her in this episode, and they seem to be moving on outside of this season. So not my monkeys, not my circus. So we finally meet Rod in his Beijing beard. It was so overly black in places it didn't have to be like dyed. You know, he was giving me like Philly closeted church member. You know what I mean? Like, if you're from Philadelphia and you grew up in the church, you know what I'm talking about. And he looks like that guy that's just like, you know, I'm from Philadelphia, I'm in the church, so I have like this beard and I do all the Beijing and I try to act, although I'm effeminate, I try to act really, really tough because I'm a top. So he gives me this era. I wouldn't be surprised if more things come up about him throughout the season because he just gives me something. And right off the bat, even from looking at him, I'm like, Rod, you're too old for this. Like, just looking at him and hearing his voice is already going into like the old man working on my car in front of my home kind of voice. Like, you know, those old black men who all they do is work on this one car that they got when they were 17 their entire life, from like their 60s to they die. He's already moving into that era with the voice. It's so familiar to me that I'm just like, I have a problem with hearing this voice on the show. I have a problem with a lot of the older people on the show because I just feel like when you get to a certain age, you need to be responsible and wise. And so the older storylines just sicken me. I'm so upset that these people are in like their 50s and 60s and they're just poor excuses for human beings. So Jasmine comes over and tells Rod about her meeting with Kirk and how things went. And another poorly acted scene. I'm going to use poor a lot this review because that's just how I felt about this episode. It was just poor all the way around. Anyway, we get this poorly acted scene and Rod tries to act like shocked and he's like, oh, man, you did what? Then he like tries to show us some remorse. Yeah, and I'm just like, I can't take it. And then Jasmine forces out this one tear that took her the entire time they were filming to let this tear run. I'm over the new people already. I'm over Rod and Jess. They don't really bring anything to this season. Like, they don't really contribute in a way where it's just like, oh, y'all getting this scene on and popping, because they're just, they need so much work to be in front of the camera. And and I can go on record and say it can't just be because they're their first season, because Jocelyn and Stevie in their first season showed up. So it can't just be that. You gotta be ready. You know what I mean? You have to be ready when you do this show. If not, we're going to see so many openings that we as the viewers don't want to see. We already know that this show is fake and put together, but we know that it's based off of some reality, and I just don't feel like Rod and Jasmine have any reality. I think it's all storyline, and that's where the issues and the believability come in, because it's just like, I don't believe you because you're literally acting out a script. Like, this is not your life. It's just not real. Now, I told you, I don't believe that she has a baby with Kirk. If she does, and I'm wrong, okay, I'll eat filet mignon on camera. You know what I mean? But I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. She has no reaction. Maybe she's just one of the monotone people where it's just like, I'm upset, I'm happy. Maybe she just has the personality of a Kardashian. I don't know, but I just can't take it. I can't take it because I just don't believe it. Our girl Tommy bails herself out, and this I believe. She bails herself out, and while she's talking to her confessional, she's upset because her mom is sitting in her home watching her kids, watching her children, but she's upset that her mother didn't answer the phone or wouldn't come bail her out or help her when she was locked up. And then Tommy reveals that she has issues with her mother, abandonment issues with her mom, because she feels like whenever times got difficult, her mom like threw her onto other people or the government. So she felt like anytime her mom got overwhelmed with her, she would throw her into foster care, throw her out the house, things of that nature. So she has this built up anger and resentment against her mother for throwing her away at a time when she needed her the most. So when Tommy gets in the home, her mother is like sitting there and she's like, hey baby, how you doing? And I'm like, ma'am, she just got out of jail. Like, I don't know. I just felt like her mother was so chill, and this girl just got out of jail. And so Tommy's like telling her about what it was like for her in jail. And then she starts, going in on her mom, and she's just like, you didn't bail me out. But like the whole time she's talking to her mom is sitting there just like, what that black mama raised in the sun kind of look like. Oh, you know what? Tommy's mom looks like her mom looks like, what is her name? Mabel King. She was the mother in What's Happening, and she played Evelyn in The Wiz. I'm telling you, she looks just like her. Look, Tommy's mother, Mabel King. And must we have an excessive butt shot in every Love and Hip Hop franchise? Because Tommy's bail bondsman, Jerry, comes over, and Tommy jumps up to give him a hug. And when she jumps up to hug him, her entire behind is out, and like this lace thong is just showing, and it's so much butt out. And I'm like, Love and Hip Hop, you could have cut and reshot this, but they are so nasty on this show, they didn't even cut. Anyway, Tommy greets Jerry, and she tells us, the viewer, that he's been her bail bondsman for a long time, that he's like a part of the family. And I'm just like, Tommy, if you're like cool with your bail bondsman, and he's been with you for so long, it's just like, she really, really needs help. I think that Tommy is good and bad for the show. I think she's good for the show because she's real and she's honest. And I think she humanizes women who are abused by the system, right? However, I don't think that this environment is healthy for her because of all of the issues that she has going on. You know what I mean? I just don't think that this is the right place for her. So she's good TV, but I mean, I don't like watching an actual train wreck self-destruct. And that's what I think is happening with Tommy. So after Tommy greets Jerry, she starts talking to her mom again about, people not really looking out for her. And then like she just starts going in on her, like being like really dogmatic about going in on her mom about the issues that they were having. And then they just start like this, they start getting really, really loud, and the argument just gets out of control. Then her mom like throws out, now I get it, Tommy was being very disrespectful to her mother, issues or not, there's just a way that you talk to your parent, regardless of how she raised you. This woman gave you life. There's a respect there that you need to have for her. However, I do not agree with her mother throwing out the mother card. How can you talk to me like that? I'm your mother. And I'm just like, ma'am, you have consistently relied on the government and predatory strangers to raise your child when you have not wanted to. When you have been done or when you have been fed up or you didn't feel like it, you threw your daughter away and the streets raised her and now she's all messed up and jumbled up and here you are today taking money that you know she's got from like doing sex work and pimping out wealthy men or stripping or whatever that type of, or stealing and all that stuff. You know how she's gotten this money even before, because all this ain't off of no Love and Hip Hop check, you know what I mean? So you know these things and your daughter is hurting and you're throwing out this mother card like you've been there for her the entire time. Then her mom tells, because then it starts getting really heated and Tommy starts taking off her shoes and that's when I was just like, okay, Tommy, all right. Then she starts calling her mother like all these curse words and I'm just like, oh, back it up, Tommy. Then she does like that angry, crazy face that she does all the time. And this is how I know her mother is gangster, because her mother that wasn't fazed by it. She was just like, oh, don't give me that scary face. If you want to do something, leap. And like, she was not fazed by anything that Tommy was doing. Her mother was standing there like, let's go. So I was just like, oh my goodness, they are both gangsters. Where were they? Where did she raise Tommy? Where are they from? Because these streets are some mean streets, because the mother was not fazed by it at all. So anyway, Love and Hip Hop security, Love and Hip Hop security come in and separate the two, and then the mother leaves and Jerry calms down Tommy, and it was just a really sad scene, because that was real. This is what I love about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I feel like a lot of it is fake, but it's not as fake as the other ones, you know what I mean? This is like a lot of real stuff comes up in this fakery and stuff like this. Like, this is a real scene, and it was just really, really sad, but I got to understand Tommy a lot better, and so I think she needs to grow up. Like I said before, I do. But I don't blame her for who she is today. I really feel like Tommy has been somebody who has been forgotten about and thrown away. And this is the result of doing it on your own by any means necessary. So shout out to Tommy. I hope you get the help you need, and I hope you get the love that you desire and require. Mama D. Why is Mama D performing in like this poorly attended block party with like businesses? I'm like, is it residential? Is it businesses? I don't know, but there's like 6 people there and she's wearing like this full bedazzled drag jumpsuit. It was just really, really awkward, and she was going for it, you know, in that order, in that order, in that order, in that order. And as excited as I am to see her, I need for her to go, because she sits down with Ernest and she starts talking about everything she does for him, and you know, all the stuff she does to his penis and how she puts it on him. I didn't even know that people at that age were still having sex. I know maybe I'm the only person who didn't know it. I guess I just don't want to know. You know, I don't want to know. But she starts talking about that, and then she says she has an issue with him and his mom. And she's just like, if your mother is doing that for you, then we need to have a threesome. And Ernest was shocked, and so was I. I was just like, why would that even come out of your mouth? I think she was trying to be shocking, but she went far beyond shocking. It just became very gross. It's about the water we betray, and how long do we stay? I don't know what it means either. She dropped it like it was a nugget of wisdom. I'm still confused. So why does Jocelyn have Stevie's drawers? I mean, can you get DNA from like ball skin or feces? Oh my gosh, is she testing his dookie? So then Carly Rae meets with Jasmine and they sit down and they discuss the So Jasmine shows Carly Rae this video of Kirk holding a baby, and then Carly Rae does that shock drop that she did last time that became miniaturely viral on the interweb. You know, the problem is Carly Rae and Jasmine are boring by themselves. Their storylines are very boring. So to put 2 boring people together, to me, is not wise. It's like, why would you take the 2 most boring people of your show and give them a scene together? I tried my darndest to pay attention or even care. I couldn't. So Mama D has this dinner and Scrappy comes by, and Scrappy tells his mom that he's having problems with Bambi, and Mama D tells her that she's having problems with Ernest. I'm only talking about this scene because Mama D is a mess. She's gonna say, it took me a long time to accept Bambi in her hoofs. This lady is so shady, and I love her for it. I love her for it. Tommy meets with Karen King, and Karen King looks very great. She has a wonderful wig. I don't have a problem with her dressing the way that she dresses. I feel like if you got it and you can still flaunt it and it's tasteful, go ahead and do it. I like her dressing what some people might say useful, but I think it's just her having fun. And I think that that's what keeps older people alive and gives them a purpose and keeps them jolly, I guess. So I loved her wig, I loved her style, and I love the fact that she was so wise. This is what I want to see. If we're going to have older people on this show, let them use their wisdom. And that's what I like what Karen King was doing. Like Tommy was telling her the issues that she was having with her mother, and Karen was explaining to her that her mother's alcoholic and she doesn't really know how to be a mom. And a lot of times the disease is speaking and not her mother. And I totally understand that. You know, like I said before, I have a parent that's struggling with addiction, so I get it. I totally understand. Anyway, I just want to say that I really like the wise Karen King. I think that this is how I want to see older people on this show. Because there's so much foolishness going on with the younger characters. It's nice to have somebody in there to just be wisdom or the viewer's eye, you know what I mean? So I like this side of her. I'm guessing that it's because she's facing a lot of jail time, a lot of prison, you know, for them white collar crimes that she was committing. So I'm thinking she's probably you know, wised up and was just like, I got to get myself together or my entire family is going to be in prison, and we have a great opportunity here, so I don't want to mess it up. Thank you, Karen King, for finally getting it. So this storyline with Stevie and his daughter coming home, I'm not hating because I feel like he's trying to give his kids checks, you know what I mean? I totally understand, but his 18-year-old daughter flying home, leaving school, the mother's not concerned. Like, it's all bullcrap. This had to be cleared with production. You know what I mean? They had to get her a flight out here. They had to, like, set up and film. And so, like, all of this was cleared by production. So this is the thing. We get it. A lot of this is not true. Just don't play us. Let us believe something. I totally did not believe this storyline. And again, because the kid is not a good actor. You know what I mean? The kid is not able to, you know, act the scenes to make it believable. Even when she comes in, she's just like, hey, and there's a shoe right. It was just so fake and forced to me. And then like she's having this scene with Stevie and she's just like, I can go to school online and I don't want to finish school. I don't know why they're trying to bring her back. I think they're trying to keep, you know what? Oh, I get it. They're trying to make Stevie the family man because they need somebody to replace T.I. in the Family Hustle. So they're trying to make this Leave It to Stevie something that'll really stay. So I guess he's going to have this daddy storyline throughout Love and Hip Hop until we get to the point where we enjoy seeing him as this father. Because I don't think Leave It to Stevie got a lot of good ratings. So I think this is probably what's happening now. We're probably going to get Stevie to replace T.I. And I mean, it's good. I mean, I like seeing him as a dad. I think he's a good dad, but I didn't believe this scene. And then his daughter's best friend. Okay. I was just like, oh, I see it. And then her acting was bad too, like acting like what was it, Debo? Oh no, the dude from the 5th floor, whatever it was. She comes in, hey, Mr. Stevie, bites a donut and walks away, and I'm just like, so. Your parents, your mothers, and that kid's parents let the both of y'all hop on a plane and come see Stevie, and nobody's concerned. No, you know, there's no missing child like APB out or anything like that. Okay, come on, Mona, don't play us. We already know we're getting. You know what? Why am I even saying anything? I sign up for this. Like I know what I'm going to get every season, and I just shouldn't complain about it. You know what I mean? Like I know what it's going to be. So why even get upset? So back to Mama D and this dinner that she's having, and she is trying to say that she's upset with Ernest because he's more of a husband to his mother than he is to Mama D. You know what? But Ernest's mother, I'm telling you, Miss Kojic was not having it. She was so insulted by how Mama D was acting, and she was sitting up there with her shoulder pads and her Kojic usher, woman's Sunday jacket, and she was just like, "Excuse me," like everything that Mama D did just shocked and annoyed her. She was just like, "Oh." Anyway, Mama D does this whole thing where she gives him a bib, and it was just a whole spectacle. And that's what that family is. That whole kingdom is a spectacle. So then Rashida and Carly Red meet, and Carly Red explains to Rashida that she met with Jasmine, and she tells her everything that she found out from her meeting with Jasmine. And again, I don't believe this storyline. I'm always going to mention it because there are so many things about it that just seem off to me. First of all, Rashida's reaction. She had like no reaction. No reaction to Kurt, one of her really good friends, letting her know that her husband's cheating. There's a video, blah, blah, blah. But no reaction. She's just like, "Oh, really? Oh, really? He did? Okay." And I'm like, "Oh, Rashida, girl, you got to give me something. Rich Dollars. Please reach out to him and get his acting coach if you are going to stay on this show. Please do that." Anyway, Rashida just doesn't have a reaction for me to like believe it. And then this is why I'm just like, this storyline is complete BS, because the camera cuts away from Rashida, who has no reaction. Cut back, she has a face full of tears. I'm like, really? Because this is the thing. This show, if she had real tears crying, do you know how much better it would be? And they already have a camera on her. So like how they film it is they have a camera on Carly and they have a camera on Rashida just so they can get all the reactions. So you mean to tell me that camera couldn't catch those tears falling? Because they're manufactured tears. Same thing with Carly Red. The camera cuts away from Carly Red, cut back, and they both have all of these tears flowing down their eyes. And I'm just like, I don't believe it. You're not convincing me. So it's just not realistic. Like, she's barely crying. Carly is barely crying. She's trying to shake her voice. It's just... oh, I just don't believe it. I don't believe the storyline. So Rashida makes this dinner for Kirk, and literally that's where the episode ends. I mean, are we not trying this season? Are we not paying the editors? There's no like wrapping up. I'm so used to Love and Hip Hop wrapping up their episodes, but there's like nothing there. Like, there was no wrap up. It was just like, oh, eat your food and enjoy it. Commercial preview for next episode. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what we gonna get. This is what we gonna get. See y'all for the next episode. Bye.